Eyewitness News and video at myabc7.com.
Welcome to World News. Tonight, the government takes quick action and proposes a plan to rescue the entire American financial system.
This is a pivotal moment for America's economy.
Two questions. How much will it cost the taxpayer? And is it the right thing to do? It's a steal. An epidemic of wire and metal theft is sweeping the country. Even manhole covers are worth their weight in gold. Genetic test. The co-founder of Google learns he's predisposed to an incurable disease. Would you want to know your health future? And our person of the week. For the first time in 20 years, it's not a person at all. Got a guess?
From ABC News headquarters, this is World News with Charles Gibson.
Good evening. You had to but listen to the words President Bush used in his very sober assessment today of the nation's economy. Precarious state, erosion of confidence, unprecedented challenges. With rare speed, the government is moving to jumpstart an economy which has spiraled down quickly. The price tag of what the administration is proposing will run into the hundreds of billions of dollars. But Wall Street, which had its share of ups and downs this week, gave a thumbs up. The Dow gained nearly 370 points and all but erased the huge losses earlier in the week. Betsy Stark is here again tonight with some details. Betsy?
Charlie, call it a vote of approval rally on Wall Street today. Investors were clearly relieved by the government's actions. But in these tumultuous times, investors are also fickle. The pressure is on Washington to pound out the details soon or once again risk the market's wrath. After a week of watching stocks swoon, banks fail, and credit markets grind to a near halt, despite extraordinary efforts to stabilize them, senior economic officials convinced the president and the Congress the economy was so frail it could not go another day without a comprehensive rescue plan.
America's economy is facing unprecedented challenges, and we are responding with unprecedented action.
Their intervention in the nation's financial markets is on a scale unseen since the Great Depression. The Securities and Exchange Commission issued a 10-day ban on so-called short sales of financial stocks to keep investors from driving solvent companies into the ground. The Federal Reserve added another $50 billion to the Emergency Loan Fund. The Treasury Department doubled the money it's spending to buy distressed mortgages, and it established an insurance program for money market mutual funds after investors pulled billions of dollars out of these supposedly super safe accounts.
The financial security of all Americans depends on our ability to restore our financial institutions to sound footing.
But what really propelled the burst of optimism on Wall Street today was the announcement of a new government agency, still on the drawing board, that would buy risky mortgage investments from financial institutions for pennies on the dollar, with hopes of selling them once the housing market recovers.
The point of this is sort of like an angioplasty, to clear out the plaques, to clear out the clogs, and to try to get the system functioning at some level of normalcy again.
But how much will it all end up costing the American taxpayer? Today, the Treasury Secretary estimated the bill in the hundreds of billions. But for now, investors are more focused on progress than price.
We're encouraged by the fact we see that confidence is starting to improve. But again, that confidence is very elusive, and it could be lost if there's any sort of hitch along the way towards implementing this plan.
The phrase, "the devil's in the details," was never more true as Congress and the administration now try to work this deal out. It is going to be a busy weekend in Washington, Charlie.
As you say, the devil is in the details, but we do know, I gather, some of the details. For instance, how many hundreds of billions of dollars?
Well, what we've learned is that it's likely to be in excess of $500 billion, but probably less than $1 trillion.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It did seem, though, this plan, as it was announced today in its broad form, it seemed to take the pressure off the stock market, and particularly the financial stocks. We don't hear any more talk about various banks and investment houses going out of business.
No, Charlie, for a change, the conversation changed from what's the next shoe going to be to drop to focusing on the fact that these companies are solvent. Maybe there's some actually good buys in the market, and we actually saw a bunch of bank stocks rally today, which was a nice change of pace. There seems to be some confidence back in the market, but it is fragile.
All right, Betsy Stark reporting again tonight. Thanks to you. And our chief Washington correspondent, George Stephanopoulos, is joining us now. George, the Treasury Secretary and the head of the Federal Reserve went up to Capitol Hill last night to talk about the need for something big to be done, and I gather put the fear of God into congressional leaders.
Scared them straight, Charlie. That is exactly right. I've talked to several members of Congress who were in that briefing yesterday, others who were briefed, and they said that Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke was especially frightening. He told them that if the Congress did not act on this, they were days away from a financial collapse. And, you know, this really did sober up the members, the leadership on both sides, Republican and Democrat. They came out of that meeting with a commitment to try and get something done this week.
And you said last night that congressional leaders might try to add a rather expensive stimulus package to all this. I gather there's some movement on that today.
There was some movement. That, you know, the Secretary Paulson and Ben Bernanke both said that was a very bad idea, and so that they pushed them off of that a little bit. But Charlie, I just found out that just a few minutes ago that debate is still going on, a real debate over whether or not it would be more likely to pass if it was a huge omnibus package that included some stimulus, perhaps the loans for the auto companies, and the funding for the government through the rest of the year. That is not the preference of the administration. That is not what they want, and the leadership is saying they'll only do it if it's the only way to pass the package.
Well, you've talked to congressional leaders. Do they seem to be on board, Republican and Democrat, with what the government's talking about?
Right now they are, Charlie, in part because Ben Bernanke and Hank Paulson said this is the last wrench in the toolbox. The question is, will the center hold? How quickly can it get done? As Betsy reported, the details are likely to come up to Capitol Hill tonight or over the weekend. They hope to get it passed by the end of next week at the latest.
End of next week. Speed, obviously, of the essence. George Stephanopoulos, thanks very much. And Sunday on This Week, George will talk about the state of the economy. One of his guests will be the Treasury Secretary, Henry Paulson. Well, some say the government's approach is the only way to halt a deepening crisis. Others argue big banks that knowingly took big risks are being rescued when they don't deserve it. Either way, everyone is going to pay. Here's David Muir.
Was it the right thing to do? Today, many economists said the government had no choice.
The alternative is a real meltdown in the financial system.
Economists point to what was already starting to happen this week. Even the strongest of banks and investment firms were being pulled down by rampant fear on Wall Street. Goldman Sachs, for one, considered one of the safest institutions, this week was selling for about half of what it was worth just last week.
We haven't experienced this kind of tumult in financial markets and this many struggling financial institutions since the 1930s.
Not acting, many economists say, would have made things far worse. The grease that keeps the economy going would have dried up. Stocks across the board tumbling, 401ks taking huge hits. They say many banks could have collapsed, putting personal savings in danger. And there could have been a freeze on loans for homes, cars, and so much else. Still, the scope of this bailout is unsettling for so many Americans. One viewer emailed us, does the government just look at this as monopoly money? Why make the little people bail out these companies? And this man asked today, what about the more than $600 billion already spent on Iraq?
We are bankrupting this nation, but I don't know what choice we have.
Though necessary, economists acknowledge many Americans will see this as hypocritical. Don't help homeowners struggling to make mortgage payments, but step in when the big guys start to fail.
It's one thing to have some safety net for very poor people. It's a very different thing to have safety net for some of the biggest corporations in America.
He calls it corporate welfare. Whatever you call it, today the Treasury Secretary said it will cost Americans far less than the alternative. David Muir, ABC News, New York.
And we move on now to other news, to China, where what started as a scandal confined to tainted powdered infant formula has spread. New tests show that 10% of that country's liquid milk supply has been contaminated with the same toxic industrial chemical that has killed 4 babies and sickened thousands more. ABC's Stephanie Tsai is in Beijing.
The shelves are emptying fast. Milk, baby formula, yogurt, even ice cream. Almost every day this week, another Chinese dairy company has been accused of selling milk products contaminated by the industrial chemical melamine. I think this is directly related to the leadership of the country, said this angry mother. It really makes people hate them. Two of the largest companies selling tainted milk had something called famous brand status, which made them exempt from routine government inspections. Yili Dairy was an official Olympics sponsor, and Mengniu Dairy supplied milk to more than 315 Starbucks stores in China.
Starbucks decided to voluntarily stop using Mengniu milk in its coffee drinks and is seeking other suppliers. But more than 20 dairy companies are now accused of selling contaminated milk.
Tonight, Starbucks stores are only serving soy milk. Lately, I haven't been buying any milk, said Xiao Liang. I won't buy it again until after the government gives us an acceptable assurance that products are safe. China had pledged to tighten quality controls after a string of product safety scares, from toxic toothpaste to lead-laden toys. But that didn't keep suppliers from spiking cow's milk with melamine to make it appear higher in protein and reap higher profits. It was melamine this time, said the mother of one-year-old Wang Siqi. Now we're worried, what's next? The government is desperately trying to contain the crisis, but with babies still fighting for their lives, it's lost the people's trust. Stephanie Tsai, ABC News, Beijing.
Tonight, a deal to rid North Korea of its nuclear weapons appears to be in serious jeopardy. North Korea says it's preparing to restart its Yongbyon nuclear power plant. The plant was partially destroyed this year, part of a deal in which North Korea would receive aid and be removed from a U.S. list of states which sponsor terrorism. Still ahead on World News, a football game canceled because of brazen metal thieves. Across the country, stolen metal is a hot commodity. An internet billionaire's DNA test shows he's at greater risk for a serious disease. If that were you, would you want to know? And a one-of-a-kind person of the week. This week, for the first time, it's not a person.
During endless shrimp at Red Lobster, you can have something decadent with something crunchy, then something creamy, then something new. Like shrimp in a spicy Cajun butter sauce. And after that, you can do it all again. It's endless shrimp. Indulge in endless choices of your favorite shrimp dishes. While the shrimp are endless, this offer isn't. Come in now for the best value of the year at Red Lobster.
The first time I had silk, my boyfriend said, "Oh, I found this. It's called silk. I think it looks kind of good. Let's give it a shot." We literally sat down like we were in the taste test and ate it with our cereal. It was good. It was cold. It was good in the cereal. It gave kind of like the bland, healthy cereal a little bit of like a, you know, like a little bit of personality. It is such an easy thing you can do to start getting healthier.
Silk has soy protein, antioxidants, and omega-3s, plus all the calcium and vitamins A and D of milk. Silk. Take a sip forward.
Talk about a wake-up call. I had a heart attack at 57. My doctor told me I should have been doing more for my high cholesterol. What was I thinking? But now, I trust my heart to Lipitor.
When diet and exercise are not enough, adding Lipitor may help. Unlike some other cholesterol-lowering medications, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and certain kinds of heart surgeries if you have several common risk factors or heart disease. Lipitor has been extensively studied with over 16 years of research. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
I learned the hard way, but you may be able to do something.
Have a heart-to-heart with your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
A week after Hurricane Ike, one official in Galveston said the city was on life support. Today, Galveston laid out plans to allow evacuees to begin returning in a week. 1.5 million Texans still have no power. More than 20,000 remain in shelters. There's welcome news for more than 40 million older and disabled Americans on Medicare. For the first time since the year 2000, premiums will not go up next year, holding at $96.40 a month. An unexpected gain in a Medicare trust fund account is making that possible. We have a sign of the Economic Times tonight, a crime hitting cities and towns across the country. With the price of metal soaring, thieves are stealing whatever metal and wire they can get their hands on. 35 states have taken up laws to crack down on metal theft. But as Pierre Thomas reports, it's a tough crime to fight.
Thieves are leading a gold rush on metal. Just ask North Carolina's Thomasville Bulldogs.
This is kind of strange, but we're not playing tonight.
Friday night lights out, game postponed. Bandits ripped the wire right out of the electrical box powering the stadium lights.
Somebody has stole the copper wires in the stadium lights, so they have no stadium lights.
In Washington state, nearly 100 electric stations have been raided this year. 18 miles worth of copper wire stolen, costing taxpayers $500,000. In Detroit, wire from electric company substations have been targeted 400 times in the past year alone, infuriating thousands of residents left in the dark.
Across the country, there's been an epidemic of metal and wire theft, all because scrap metal has never been, well, more precious.
The price of copper is more than $3. It's nearly tripled in the past 5 years. The price of other metals is surging as well, due in part to booming construction in China and India.
At $4 a pound or $3 a pound, it doesn't take too many pounds of copper for somebody to walk away with a tank full of gas.
Traffic lights, manhole covers, churches and cemeteries all have been hit as well. Huge metal statues weighing hundreds of pounds stolen too. Hard to stop because the stolen metal often looks like junk.
You've had a few people led away in handcuffs before that.
Oh yeah, we certainly have. People have been led away in handcuffs because we've been alerted to stolen material that shows up at our scale. We call the detectives and they get them here in the course of selling it to us.
It's gotten so bad that the scrapyard had to install security cameras. But bandits recently robbed them anyway. Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
And coming up, a DNA dilemma. A high-tech pioneer learns his genetic secret.
So, Jillian, you had occasional irregularity. I know that you were just living with.
That was my normal. I thought that was normal.
What changed?
I saw Activia in my mom's fridge, and I took out this little green container, tried it for a couple weeks, and it's liberating.
Activia is clinically proven to help regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks when eaten every day.
So, Jillian, do you still think occasional irregularity is normal?
Maybe, but I like my new normal.
Activia!
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of NetZero. All internet providers take you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? NetZero is only $9.95 a month, and we give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
I learned a lot when I found out I had high cholesterol, but I didn't know that it may have led to my erectile dysfunction. That's why my doctor told me about Levitra.
Certain medical conditions, including high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, can decrease blood flow, which may lead to ED.
That was news to me. My doctor told me Levitra could help.
Levitra works by increasing blood flow to help treat ED.
Levitra works for me. Maybe it can work for you.
Ask your doctor if you are healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems, are on alpha blocker therapy, or have uncontrolled high blood pressure, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss of vision or hearing, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away. Ask your doctor if Levitra is right for you.
Great soup, Jen. What's your secret?
An incredibly high degree of culinary intuition plus years of experience.
You mean Swanson broth?
Yeah.
Made with all-natural chicken stock and flavored with garden vegetables and herbs, the secret to great-tasting homemade soups is Swanson broth.
If you're taking a prescription medication, talk to your CVS pharmacist about a generic alternative. Generics are just as effective as brand name drugs and can save you up to 80%. Talk to me or your local CVS pharmacist. CVS Pharmacy, for all the ways you care.
Healthful life from Purina Cat Chow. With real chicken, wholesome greens, delicious salmon, and a touch of cranberry and cheese. Finally, it's all come together. Healthful life from Purina Cat Chow. Yes, healthy can be delicious.
Modern medicines, they kill cancer cells, but cause nausea, fatigue, anxiety. Now there's a simple solution with no medication, no risks.
I feel better.
What is it that can help you or someone you love cope with cancer? Monday, watch Real News with Charles Gibson.
The co-founder of Google has just gone public with a personal health issue discovered through DNA testing. Sergey Brin, an early investor in a genetic testing company, thought it might be interesting to have his own DNA checked. What he learned could change his life. Here's Ned Potter.
Sergey Brin is one of the great success stories of the internet age, but he is still mortal. He writes in his blog that when he looked at his genetic test, he, quote, viewed it mostly as entertainment. He got more than he bargained for. His mother has Parkinson's, and his DNA contains a gene for it, too. This leaves me in a rather unique position, he wrote. I know early in life something I am substantially predisposed to.
We feel very strongly that people should have access to this information.
Linda Avey is co-founder with Brin's wife of the company that tested his DNA. It's a growing field. For anywhere from a few $100s to $2,000, firms will take a sample of your saliva and give you a readout of your risk for heart attacks, MS, lung cancer, and 90 other conditions.
The scientific community, I think, would tell you that the data are very accurate.
But not all doctors agree. Testing your genome is still new. It's hard for a patient to tell the difference between a reliable test and a questionable one.
You find some that are way out there doing the sort of modern version of genetic snake oil.
And ask yourself this, do you really want to be warned of a disease that you cannot prevent and doctors cannot cure?
I don't think I'd want to predict the future.
I just as soon walk around and take my chances, and whatever happens, happens.
Sergey Brin sees it differently. He wrote that he feels fortunate. I have a better guess than almost anyone else for what ills may be mine, he said, and I have decades to prepare for it. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
So, would you want to get a DNA test? What would you do with the results? You can weigh in at our website, abcnews.com. And up next, a unique person of the week. One clue, it's not a person.
World News with Charles Gibson and Person of the Week. Brought to you by Stainmaster Carpet.
We can't promise that it will get you a raise, help the kids get along, or make you look thinner. But Stainmaster Carpet does last up to 50% longer and stay up to 30% cleaner than other carpets, adding more comfort and style than ever to your home. As part of our fall anniversary celebration, we'll extend the limited warranty by 5 years on any new Stainmaster carpet purchased now through December 31st. For complete details, visit Stainmaster.com.
I was one of those people too who was like, soy, I was a little weary about it. And then when I drank it, I was like, this is so good.
Silk has soy protein, antioxidants, and omega-3s, plus all the calcium and vitamins A and D of milk. Silk. Take a sip forward.
Wow, what results. And what savings. Olay Regenerist Microsculpting Cream. Under $30, yet Good Housekeeping says it hydrates better than the $300 department store cream. Spend less, get more. Regenerist.
So you're looking to lower your cholesterol. Well, you're not alone, because millions of Americans are. So Cheerios gave away 1 million bowls of cereal. Why? Because Cheerios can help lower your cholesterol 4% in 6 weeks. Not long at all. Just 6 weeks. So join the challenge and get $6 in coupons at CheeriosChallenge.com.
You, the American workers, are the best in the world. But your economic security has been put at risk by the greed of Wall Street. That's unacceptable. My opponent's only solutions are talk and taxes. I'll reform Wall Street and fix Washington. I've taken on tougher guys than this before.
Change is coming. John McCain.
I'm John McCain, and I approve this message.
Excuse me. Hi. Can we just take a minute to talk about your colon? Constipation, gas, bloating, diarrhea. Oh, I'm making you uncomfortable, aren't I? Well, when your colon's out of whack, it can make you extremely uncomfortable. That's why there's new Philips Colon Health with probiotics. It's the good kind of bacteria that can help naturally rebalance your system so you can avoid those very unpleasant symptoms. For better long-term digestive health, new Philips Colon Health. Take care of your colon, and it will take care of you.
Bergeron, Klume, Mandel, Probst.
Seacrest. They're Emmy hosts and nominees. And you've never seen an award show announce a winner like this.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
The Primetime Emmys, Sunday 8/7 Central on ABC.
Sunday, the monumental plan to rescue Wall Street. It could be one of the biggest government bailouts ever. What are the risks, and how could it affect the race for the White House? Sunday, the plan's chief architect and key decision makers weigh in on This Week with George Stephanopoulos.
Finally tonight, we take a bit of liberty with our Person of the Week. Instead of choosing someone who has done something remarkable, we choose a place that has seen so much that is remarkable. This 85-year-old is world famous, has fathered countless legends, has been host to tens of millions of guests, and has been the subject of endless childhood fantasies. On Sunday, Yankee Stadium will host its final baseball game.
It's a bright, sparkling day in New York.
More than anything, Yankee Stadium is the cathedral of not just of baseball, but of sports.
Program yearbook.
It's known simply as the Stadium, or the house that Ruth built.
Number 2, 3, there you go.
I'll miss everything. I'll miss the energy, all the things that, maybe the fans will get an opportunity to see, walking from the clubhouse to the dugout down the tunnel with the Joe DiMaggio sign hanging.
And it really was built for Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth was acquired by the Yankees in 1919 from the Red Sox, and he instantly became the biggest player in the game.
The Yankees were playing at the Polo Grounds, home to the New York Giants baseball team, when Ruth and the Yankees started drawing bigger crowds.
It became an untenable situation for the Giant management to endure, so they asked the Yankees to leave.
So the Yankees bought 10 acres in the South Bronx and built the country's first triple-tiered ballpark, the first to be called a stadium.
It was a big, bawdy era. It was called the Age of Wonderful Nonsense. We just had gotten out of World War I. The people were still holed up and everything. All of a sudden, they're breaking out, and they're coming out to see the Babe do his thing.
And Ruth didn't disappoint, hitting a home run in the very first game at the new stadium and leading the Yankees to the first of 26 World Series championships. Some of the greatest moments in baseball. Don Larson's perfect game. Jackie Robinson stealing home, and Reggie Jackson hitting 3 home runs in one game, all during World Series, and all at Yankee Stadium. That roster of talent who called the stadium home: Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Reggie Jackson, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, it's unrivaled. In Yankee Stadium,
an explosive right sends Schmeling to the canvas.
In 1938, Joe Louis knocked out the Nazi-backed Max Schmeling in the first round. In 1958, Giants-Colts called the greatest football game ever played. And it's hosted popes and presidents,
High point of Billy Graham's
preachers,
crusade.
and pop stars. They are building a new stadium across the street, but
This here is the hallowed ground. Not across the street, but here. Here is where the monuments were. Here is where all these championships were won, on this field.
I'm going to miss Yankee Stadium. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't. But then on the other hand, you're pretty excited to go over to the new stadium. And, it's up to us to develop a history over there, and hopefully we can start that next year.
And so we choose Yankee Stadium. The $1.3 billion ballpark being built across the street will be much like this one, but it won't be the same. With a nod to Wrigley and Fenway, this has been baseball's capital for so many years. And that's World News for this Friday. I'm Charlie Gibson, and I hope you had a good day. From all of us at ABC News, have a great weekend.
Alec Baldwin's public custody battle. Fallout from that voicemail that nearly pushed him to the edge. Now, tonight, he speaks out only to Diane Sawyer about the courts, fatherhood, and moving on.
Do you hate her?
Only on 20.
When you see news happening, call the Eyewitness News tip line toll-free at 877-777-NEWS.
It's good to shop. No, really.
This Saturday at Macy's, shop for a cause.
Give $5 to a local charity.
Get a 20% off all-day shopping fest.
gas.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
It's good for you, and it's good for your community.
Shopping all over Macy's.
Saving 20%. Giving to a cause you care about. Getting everything you want.
Everything you want.
And giving back.
This is as good as it gets.
It's good shopping.
This Saturday at Macy's.